Hey guys, me again, Orc What If? So where I last left off, let's see, checking. Well, gonna start a new series. Sorry to those who are wanting some old series, but I feel like they've hit a point of being somewhat dead. Anyways, as I digress, I'm gonna start off with a what if I've had in my mind for a while. It's another Bell what if. I wonder if people are still making those or even watching them. It's been a while since I've looked at it. Anyways, it doesn't really matter, I guess. But what if Deku was Fume Knight Rain? Or I'll just be saying the Fume Knight. What if Bell was the Fume Knight? I'm pretty sure I just said Deku. Now, for those of you who don't know, there's a theme with my what ifs for Bell. Not a theme, but there's a somewhat of a thing. Dark Souls. He is also from Dark Souls. He's from Dark Souls 2, and he's from a DLC. But he's also a very storied character, where the story is basically, for him, he was loyal to a guy called King Vendrick. Vendrick? Yes. And he had someone who he would consider a brother, Velstadt. I'll be introducing these characters and showing you how Fume Knight Rain gets to be known as the traitor. I digress, but anyways, let's continue on. We start off in a village far away. In that village, there's Bell. Pure white hair, bright red eyes. He's born. The world, as they would describe it around him, is actually quite beautiful. He sees it and he likes it, but he doesn't like things people typically do. He likes the more darker parts of the world, the nighttime and such. And he even goes on to talk about birds, but people find it off-putting because his favorite bird, instead of majestic eagles, owls, or stuff like that, his favorite bird is the raven, I believe it's the raven, which is what they associate with death. But he's born to pretty normal people. As then one day, boom, giants invade. Not like normal giants. These are a very particular breed of giants, I believe. They're much smaller than your typical giant from Dark Souls 1. They're more stout, you could call them. More like rock than anything. They have gaping holes for a face. As one point, the giants invade and just start smashing everything to pieces. From what Bell hears, this isn't the first time the giants have tried something like this. This would probably be the third or second time when it comes to his village alone. Typically they're able to fend them off, but they got some pretty dangerous ones with them. Before it'd just be 2 or 3 coming to take the cows and such, livestock and whatnot. But this time, they come for this, to claim territory. So, as they move into Bell's town, late at night, they just smash apart the walls. As Bell and them all see this, there really isn't a centralized kingdom at this point. They got no unity, you could call it. So it's pretty much every village, every city for themselves. But aside from that, Bell and them move forward. As at this point, Bell and his family get out. As soon as they heard the crashing and screaming, Bell's father had them put on a horse and sent all of them off. As Bell's father was an ex-soldier, you could call it. Or closest thing to a soldier, more like an adventurer. As it's, I believe, Aurario, is about time where there's a place. He wasn't a very powerful adventurer, mind you. He's probably just like level 1, like 2 or 3. Nothing insane. As he wants to fight the giants, but the giants came with over 30 of them. And a giant could easily kill a minotaur. So, the giants are smashing apart the village as Belle and them flee. As they ride to the nearest village, but also find that place demolished. One after another, they notice that the giants leave almost nothing standing. As Belle and them finally flee to a city, as that seems to be a place where they are safe. As they bring news about they bring news about how the villages were decimated, as the word they would use, by the giants. Completely eviscerated. Like, there's nothing left. As they don't believe this at first, but then they send people out and they're like, oh, okay, this is not good. This is not good. At this point, Belle is not 16. He's around 13 years old. He lived in that village. His friends are gone, basically. Or the friends he had. Belle is freaking out, even though he is able to keep somewhat of a calm. As his father kneels before Belle and his mother, they're brought up to the keep to speak with the person who owns the city. As he claims that no giants can penetrate their walls. It would take over 1,000 giants working with much larger giants, siegecraft, things that they just have never seen from the giants. As, well, they hear a massive roar, I guess, as they see giants marching towards their city. No siegecraft or anything, just giants. And they have some pretty large ones, too. Some of the biggest that they've ever seen. Belle's father even goes on to think about it as he sees the giants. And the bigger ones, they have actual weapons. Not just like pieces of tree, like trees that have been uprooted, or pieces of concrete. He sees one pick up like a giant stone that they had brought with them, as he lobs it over at the city as it crashes into one of the districts. As he can tell from that thing alone, if they have more giant rocks, they're merely going to pelt them to death. But that doesn't seem to be the plan, as 3 more rocks inbound, one takes out the front gate and the other takes out the keep, you could call it. As Belle's father, after looking at that, orders for those men around him to get the city militia, as he says that he'll help him defend it, that he used to be an adventurer. As the soldiers are soldiers with quotations, somewhat feel better about this, they say, yes sir, as they all run off to go deal with their things. Belle is just in shock at what's happening, and his father orders him to gather people and to go down deep into the inner parts of the city, like the sewers inside, you could call them, or even the crypts, as they hunker down there knowing that this will be a long fight. As they spend months down there, Belle doesn't do any crazy stuff like go fight giants. He's like 10 years old. As eventually they get here knocking, as the walls are pretty much destroyed except for like the very last set of them. As Belle and them come out, there's barely the quarter of the soldiers that were remaining in the city before. The walls are destroyed and there's dead giants everywhere. Belle's father had pulled his weight in the siege. And they also, killed one of the giants, actual giants. as they see its corpse laying across several city districts. Not districts. Several city marketplace you could call it. Both of them recognize that this will be a crazy war indeed. Or not war, but this will be a crazy few years, is what some of them suspect. As Bell and them set off again, not knowing what's gonna happen, pretty much Bell's dad just takes over the fort, you could call it. They gather what supplies they can, and then they march off, deciding that, the next city's probably gonna need a bit more help. As over time, over the few years, they traveled from place to place to place. Bell actually learning quite a lot, and in those years, Bell's father actually decided to start training him a bit, saying that, Bell, our family has had a history of warriors. It's just true. I wanted a different life for you, because tell you the truth, when it comes to being a warrior, nobody ever grows old in this age. Hell, even adventurers. I can't think of a single adventurer that has gone to die of old age. All of them fall one day. Be it by accident, by choice, or by odds that just simply didn't favor them. But I'm going to do my best to train you, because at the rate we're going, you're going to be running into some very tough times. So from this day forward, I'll train you every single day. We'll set a bit of time. Once you get done with how some of the people wanted to teach you in our little band of not misfits, but our little group that has been traveling around. Since Bell's father pretty much decided that staying in one place for too long would probably cause the giants to come after him, so they developed the life of nomadic travel. They pick up people, they go to place, and they even make money as bodyguards and such like that, as they protect caravans. So they move from place to place to place, living off the land in some cases. So Bell knows a bit about, knows a bit about foraging and even preparing wild food, skinning animals, all that. As he listens to his dad says, alright, so first things first, you're gonna want to do, as he shows him some instructions and even has Bell try to hit him with a wooden stick. As Bell tries his best, but the stick is kind of brittle, so it breaks as soon as he tries to hit his father. He's like, that was a terrible stick. He's like, here. As he gives Bell his stick, as then his dad takes his actual sword. As Bell's like, shouldn't we switch this around? He's like, no, it's because I can make sure I don't hit you with this. Well, I'm pretty sure you'll have a difficulty lifting up a sword this big, as the sword's decently big compared to Bell. As Bell's like, alright. As he stands up and gets ready, as he tries to attack his father, but his dad's much quicker, as he's able to knock Bell down quite a few times. Bell rises up every time, but he still gets knocked down, as his father thinks, alright. We have a lot of work to do, but then again, I'm much stronger than your average person. I am an adventurer after all. He's like, what familia were you a part of? As Bell's father actually kind of looks sad as he says, I was part of the Zeus familia. He's like, where are they now? He's like, they're gone. I left a while ago. But don't worry, Bell, they've been wiped out. They tried to take on the Black Dragon King, and they paid dearly for it. As Bell says, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. He's like, as I told you, Bell, Nobody grows old in this life. Anyway, aside from that, as he rubs his forehead, let's move on, shall we? He's like, alright. As that is Belle's life for the next 3 years. As Belle eventually gets old enough where he sort of helps protect caravans. As his dad doesn't really have a certain outfits or anything picked out for his group. They just wear what they have available. So for that, Belle wears he wears dark chainmail, you could call it. In the sense, like, it's a darker shade of gray or black. Belle's father wears something similar, where it's more plate than chainmail. Belle just has enough to keep him safe, as he would put it. He has little gauntlets, or wrist bracers, I would call them, and boots with chainmail. That's the main thing he wears, so that way he has some form of protection. As his father also gives him a sword. It's very standard. It's a one-handed sword, pretty much. Nothing special about it. As Belle thanks his father, he's like, it's no problem, Belle. Now, I've told you about the upkeep of weaponry, and how to use weapons, but I really haven't told you what it's like to carry this armor and weapons around 24/7. As he was originally going to give Belle chainmail only, but he's like, no, like, I need more stuff, wouldn't I? Like, just in case for, like, extra protection. As Belle's father thought about it, he's like, alright, I am not giving you a full set of plate, though. So Belle's like, oh, I understand, Dad. I understand completely. As he's like, good. Now, as he gives him gauntlets, boots, and the chainmail, like I said. He's like, thank you, Dad. He's like, it's no problem, Belle. Now, remember, it's going to take you a little bit, so you're going to have to put that on every day for at least 4 weeks. As he's like, what, really? He's like, yep. It's how long it typically takes for you to build up strength to wear it. He's like, I don't think that's right, but alright, Father. As Belle's fine for the first half of the day, then he starts to feel it actually starts to have some weight after a few hours. Then he's like, oh God. As Belle realizes why his father wanted to start him out slow, but Belle pushes through it, you could call it, knowing that if he pushes through it, he'll be better for it. As well, that's what he does. A few months later, Belle and them are protecting a caravan, as this is Belle's first assignment, you could call it. As Belle's very vigilant on his first job, most of the guys find it actually kind of funny look how serious the kid's taking this. Man, we haven't been attacked by anybody in years, or even giants. As they say that, a tree falls over in front of them and in the back of them. So like, wait, what the hell? As they all like start freaking out, Belle's like, As Belle's father had to take the nomads to a more safer area, as Belle's father noticed that in the areas that they've been going around, there's been rumors and activity of bandits and all that. So he took them closer to a city where they would be safer. As Belle and his little group that were around are now trapped between a whole group of bandits. Belle's people only having let's say 20, while the bandits have close to 60. As they're like, we're surrounded and outnumbered. As the first guy gets hit with a crossbow bolt, Belle jumps to cover. As he picks up the shield where the guy fell, as he uses it to take the crossbow bolt. As Belle says, guys, what are you doing? He's like, give us a second, kid, we're disorganized. As Belle says, alright, I'll give you some time to think then. As he pushes forward, as he uses this tower shield, which is the shield he got, slams it right into a guy, as then he slices another across their chest. As Bell, in the moment, just has it slowed down for him that he just killed the first guy. He's killed his first man. As then Bell doesn't really dwell on, as he sort of smashes another guy with the shield, as then he skewers two more with his longsword. He's like, this is crazy, as 6 are down already. Bell's father has been putting him through training for years, so Bell is quite adept at fighting. Or adept? As he pushes forward, the bandits are like, damn it, get this kid! As Bell chops another one almost all the way through the neck. As then he throws the shield, as then he two-hands his longsword, slicing a guy's stomach, as then he stabs another through the heart. As the other, more veteran, you could call, bodyguards immediately say, alright, the kid's giving us time, get forward! As 15 take the right side, and the rest of them go and help Bell, as they've lost a few people. As Bell and them are taking the bandits out, Bell has taken down quite a few before his reinforcements, you could call it, arrived. As Bell is a little bit injured, where a guy managed to cut his arm, but otherwise he's fine. As the rest of the group show up and help Bell put down the rest, as they go down to help the other side, and they need it. They're down to 10 guys, and Bell's group only has 9, and that's including Bell. So they push forward, and with luck on their side, they manage to win it. As Bell and them are somewhat shell-shocked, they're like, I was not expecting that. As Bell takes a second to breathe, as he actually then goes, as he's like, oh yeah, I forgot the kid never really, killed anyone. It's like, yeah, and his dad thought this was supposed to be a safer assignment. What a mess. We're down to we're down to 10. We're down to almost 11 guys. And then there's those guys, but damn it. Excuse me, Bell, go talk with the merchants, see what they got, if anything happened to them. As Bell approaches, 2 of the merchants have been hit with crossbow bolts, while the only one that's left is the one that was learning from the 2 of them. As the 2 merchants were brothers, and this was their nephew, so he says, I guess I'm in charge now? As he shrugs his arm, as Bell's like, I guess he is in charge. So as the group packs up and helps them all move along, as they eventually reach their destination, Bell just, it was an exciting day, you could call it. Bell and them are making their way closer and closer to, the nomads, I'll call them, as they hear talk of how there's this guy rounding up people, adventurer, you could call him, named Vendrick, going around collecting people to help fight against the giant menace. As they say, he was once actually commander of one of the city forts, but after the city fell, when his after the person who ran the city refused to follow what he was saying, he was giving advice saying that we need to do this, this, and this to make the people better. The guy would just not listen to it and rejected it at every turn. So Vendrick left, and most of the city guard actually joined with him because they were loyal to Vendrick and his ideas to protect the people. But Vendrick just eventually couldn't take it anymore with the guy just running things how he did. being completely incompetent by, as Vendrick would say. As Bell hears about someone finally going to take the giants to fighting the giants, Bell says he could get behind that, but he would question himself if he did so. As he thinks about it, he said, it'd probably be the best thing to do. I'm old enough, technically. I'm 17 for crying out loud. As Bell gets up, as this is a month later, as they hear that he's getting closer and closer to where Bell and them are. As Bell has been making his preparations, you could call it. He's been stocking up a bit of money that he's had, and he's actually gotten a little bit of better armor. As instead of like little bracers against his arm, he has gotten actual gauntlets. And well, he even got a helmet, he got a shoulder pad, you could call it. So now one arm is completely safe. As Bell's thinking, really hope I'm not making a rash decision. As he steps out of the door one day, all dressed up, his father stops him. Where are you going, Bell? He says, there's a man called Vendrick. He's heading this way. He's looking for mercenaries. Like, but why? As his father asks that, he says he's rounding up men to fight the giants. As in Bell's father's face takes a bit of a sour turn, as like, and what were you going to do? As Bell says, as Bell just goes quiet, as his father's like, Bell, listen to me. As Bell says, why? The giants burned our village ages ago, and they did the same thing to over a dozen. Why don't we take the fight to them? It's because, Bell, they are giants. The terrain they occupy is in the mountains, and in some more dangerous territory than even adventurers would even dare to go to. Trust me, I know. As Bell says, yes, I know you're an adventurer, but this is our chance. As it's like, it's your chance to die. Yes. As Bell says, I knew this would be no point bringing this up to you. That's why I was trying to leave. It's like, oh, and just a drop out of nowhere? What were you done with your mother? She would have been terrified of what happened to you. Bell just sighs and just leaves. As it's like, Bell, get back here. We're not done. As Bell says, yes, we are done. I ain't changing my mind on this. As Bell's father said, fine, then duel me. As Bell says, that's idiotic. We all know that you're better than me because you were an adventurer. That gives you a boost above every single person. For all of us in the little mercenary group, you call it, could jump on you right now, and it still wouldn't have been enough to stop you. You can't expect people to fight you when you have an unfair advantage. As Bell leaves without saying another word, someone saying, I hope I'm making the right choice. As he moves on to the city, or the little village that's next, as he comes on horseback, he sees a man in relatively nice armor, big gray beard, and a giant sword on his back. This man himself is actually pretty tall as well. And Bell is no short person either, but, Vendrick is tall. As Bell approaches him, he actually asks, are you Vendrick, the giant slayer? It's like, yes, I am. And who might you be? As Bell says, I'm merely one of the ones looking to join your cause. I hear you are wishing to take the fight to the giants. If you wouldn't mind, I would be honored to join your cause. As Vendrick says, very well. We will have you on board. What is your name? As Bell goes to say his actual name, then he says, I am Raime, which is R-A-I-M-E, Raime. As is like, very well, Raime. Welcome aboard. As Bell bows his head saying, thank you, Vendrick. as he rides his horse alongside, well, Vendrick. It only makes sense for Bell and his people to have horses since, nomadic. As Bell is like one of the only guys that actually have some proper armor, you could call it. The rest of them have bits and pieces here and there, but nothing too much, as Vendrick's like, he'll be quite useful in helping me. As Bell says, I know I've made the right choice. Anyway, that's where I'm going to be ending this one off at. I hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this, and I hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.